It's The Lone Show on KSRO with George Adair. Call in with your questions now at 636-1350.
Hey, thanks for joining us today on The Lone Show. Today also the Homeowners Insurance Show. Live in the studio taking your calls. If you have questions about insurance, today we're taking those with Rob Mokry of Farmers Insurance, my personal agent, and I'd like to get that out there, but also has represented several of my clients and done a fantastic job. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
There's a lot of people that you have to choose from. I've talked about this regularly, folks, that there's thousands of realtors, there's thousands of agents that can do your insurance, there's dozens of, professionals, attorneys, that you can work with. I've worked with so many different people in town over the last several years that I can be a resource to you. So if you're looking for people to interview for your personal business services, give me a ring, and I will help you, or send me an email. Today, Rob, we are talking about insurance. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm actually an agency owner, so Rob Mokry Insurance Agency is my business. Mm-hmm. I own the agency myself, and I have another producer that works with me, Mike Witter. The one thing that we do that a lot of agencies don't is we treat people like family. We make ourselves accessible for them and also answer any questions. I actually prefer to inform people so they can make sound decisions on their insurance, whereas so many companies out there just go, here, cheapest price. You really got to be careful what you're doing, because insurance is what's going to protect your life if something bad ever really does happen.
Right. So, for example, whenever I've had a question about my policy, I call you direct.
Correct.
Instead of having to call a toll-free number. In fact, we actually had called Farmers. I switched to Rob. I already had a Farmers policy. And Farmers told us they couldn't do anything at the toll-free number. I actually had to deal with my broker, or my agent. Sorry, you're not a broker, you're my agent. So I thought that was interesting. So there's a different type of service quality working with you. Are you a direct agent with Farmers, or are you a broker?
No, I'm an exclusive agent, but Farmers Insurance Group, it's a group of different companies. So we do have other companies that we can write business with. So if you don't fit perfect in one, I can potentially find another that's in our group that fits your needs a little better.
Okay, good. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility then in what you offer.
Yes,
instead
definitely
of just being pigeonholed into one service. Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to get out in today's show is talking about the devaluation of real estate. How does a homeowner's price reduction in their value, maybe their house is appraising for 30% less than it did when they got their house in 2008. How does that impact their hazard insurance policy and their premiums?
It really doesn't affect the insurance side of things very much at all. I mean, it's a common mistake people make. They say, well, my property was worth $700,000 5 years ago, and now it's only worth $400,000 or $500,000. Do I have to change my insurance? And the insurance on your home is actually based off the reconstruction cost, or what it would take to rebuild your home, not what the property or the value of that house is actually worth on the market today. So typically that doesn't sway as much, even though there is some flexibility there and fluctuation. But otherwise, for the most part, what your property's worth to sell isn't what it's going to cost to rebuild the house.
Yeah, and that's the key point, rebuilding the house, because a lot of people don't understand what their insurance really is covering. A lot of people think their insurance covers things it doesn't cover, right? Can you go into that for me? For example, address earthquake and flood and how that insurance may differ from what people have on their houses now?
Well, the regular home policy or the normal home policies that you have through an insurance company are going to rebuild your home. Now, they don't cover flood and earthquake. Those are actually state-funded programs. To have flood insurance, you actually have to live in a flood risk area. So most people don't even need it in California. There's not a lot of flood risk areas around unless you're close to rivers and things like that could potentially overflow.
And a lot of those houses have already been raised above the 30-year floodplain. FEMA did a whole thing out in the Russian River area. And almost all the houses out there have been raised, to my understanding.
And it's a good precaution to take. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there's a risk, try to do what you can to prevent having that happen to you. Okay. And, again, that's going to be a state-funded program, just like the earthquake. If you get an insurance company that says they have their own earthquake insurance, be very leery about that, just for the simple fact that the big quake back in the late 80s, when that happened, that put a lot of insurance companies out of business due to them carrying their own earthquake insurance.
So what happens if someone's house, let's say there's the big one, right? The quote-unquote 9.0 comes and hits the San Andreas Fault. What happens to people? What are they going to do? They don't have a hazard insurance policy that's going to cover them. Is the government going to step in? What does that mean?
Well, it's a government program means that you can actually purchase the California Earthquake Authority is what it is.
Okay.
So the Earthquake Authority insurance is run through the state. They have a certain amount of money, let's just say $4 billion set aside for something of a catastrophic nature if the earthquake, the big one.
Uh-huh.
Now, obviously, if it was that bad, the government more than likely is going to step in and help because they have disaster funds and things of that nature that help to cover. But first and foremost, it's going to go through the state.
Wait a sec, but that's assuming California's not bankrupt by then from all the initiatives and overspending that we're doing, right? Can I get insurance to protect me from the Mayan end of the year calendar on December 20th? I'm just kidding, Rob. Rob almost had an answer for me on that one.
It would have been no.
So I think that, folks, I want to reemphasize this. If you have a hazard insurance policy, it's to rebuild your house, yes, but really only in the event of fire, right?
No. Many different things are covered. Fire, wind. If a satellite falls out of the sky and lands on your house, that's going to be covered on your homeowner's insurance. So, yeah, there's many different things that it covers.
Okay.
But in the event of earthquake or natural disasters, if you don't have an earthquake policy, you're not going to be covered due to earthquake unless the earthquake doesn't damage your house but starts your house on fire. Now, if the earthquake started a fire that burnt your house down, then your house will be covered on your homeowner's policy.
See, that's creative underwriting right there. Right? Creative insurance underwriting, I should say. Okay, well, that's good. So let's say I have an investment property and I have tenants, and for example, let's say they have a dog. For example, I have a German Shepherd and a Doberman Pinscher, and one of the reasons I ended up going with Farmers was because you guys would insure those dogs at that time.
Yep.
Whereas other carriers would not insure those dogs, and anyone's welcome to come by my house. You might not get through the front door, but I have really nice dogs. I'm just kidding. They're old and they're becoming decrepit. How does insurance impact tenants and an investor?
Well, when it comes to an investment property, the policy that's written for the investor, the owner of that property who's renting it out, is completely different than their homeowner's policy. One of the things that's a really major difference is the personal property side of it. Now, on all homeowners' policies, you have personal property coverage, so it covers all of your personal property in addition to the home itself. Now, on a landlord policy, that personal property that you have is very minute. You might have washer, dryer, range.
Appliances, right?
Pretty much about $10,000 worth of coverage. So landlord policies are much less expensive just due to that fact. It'll still rebuild that home for you, but you don't have to worry about all the other odds and ends. A little bit of liability insurance, and that's really all you need in those policies.
That's great. So we're going to go to break here, but how do people get a hold of you, Rob?
Best way to get a hold of me, I actually keep my cell phone on at all times. That number is 707-849-1996. And I do make myself available for all clients 24/7 because if you need me, I need to be there.
Is there a Facebook page or website we can find you at?
You can find me actually at Rob Mokry Insurance Agency on Facebook. Put interesting bits of news on there for folks to help them educate themselves. And then also you can reach me at farmers.com/Rob Mokry.
And that's M-O-K-R-Y, folks.
Correct.
Rob Mokry. We're also going to put his info on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Bay Equity Loans. It'll be up there. We're going to come back with Rob for a few more minutes of conversation. Stick around. We're going to commercial. We'll be right back.
To find out more about Bay Equity Home Loans, call George Adair at 707-583-8100. That's 707-583-8100.
Hey there, Sonoma County. This is George Adair, host of the all-new Loan Show on KSRO. I'm inviting KSRO listeners to join me on Wednesday at 12:30 for a lighthearted but informative look at mortgage and real estate matters that affect you. I want your calls and questions, so join me Wednesdays at 12:30 for the Loan Show on KSRO. Folks, you know I'm always touting the benefits of a 15-year fixed loan, right? My logic is simple. Most people will save over $100,000 in interest. You could actually own your home free and clear by the time you retire. I want you to know that Bay Equity Home Loans is offering a 15-year loan at 3.25%, APR 3.39%. So call me at 583-8100 and see if you qualify for this amazingly low fixed-rate loan and start paying your loan off for good. Call 583-8100 and see how much you can save. That number again is 583-8100. Don't forget to tune into the Loan Show on KSRO every Wednesday at 12:30.
Department of Corporations number 6053919, NMLS 238915, Equal Housing Lender.
We're following two couples starting a kitchen remodel. One thinks they will save time and money shopping at a big box store. The other is heading to Sonoma Kitchen and Bath.
Excuse me, can we get some help in the kitchen and bath department?
Huh? Oh, Bob and fencing can probably help you.
Are you kidding?
Hi, welcome to Sonoma Kitchen and Bath. How can I help you?
Amazing. Look at all the displays.
Wow, this is going to be so easy.
Can't open the cabinet.
I thought we'd save time and money, but it's going to cost more time and money to fix.
I love the kitchen.
Plenty of room and storage. It's perfect.
Hi, I'm Gail with Sonoma Kitchen and Bath. When planning a kitchen or bath remodel, save yourself time and money by letting our experts help. We've added new quality cabinets, countertops, plumbing, and tile products to fit almost every budget. Let us help you create a space you'll love.
Sonoma Kitchen and Bath, corner of Guerneville and Coffee, Santa Rosa, or SonomaKitchenandBath.com. Building on experience, Sonoma Kitchen and Bath.
It's the Lone Show on KSRO with George Adair. Call in with your questions now at 636-1350.
Hey, we're back here. Rob Mokry with Farmers Insurance. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, so you were talking to us about some pretty interesting things with regards to investment properties and what kind of insurance people should have. What if somebody has a condo? Their HOA policy covers rebuild usually, but then there's a walls-in policy, right?
Correct.
So can you talk a little bit about condo insurance?
Well, condo insurance is pretty unique. Typically, if it's part of any HOA, there's always going to be a master policy that's going to cover, like you said, the exterior part up to a certain part inside of the building itself. Usually they cover to the studs, even all the way to the paint. But any cabinetry, things of that nature inside of the paint is going to be the tenant's responsibility, the owner of the condo. On occasion, though, surprisingly enough, you do find those policies, the master policies, that cover everything, all the way to the cabinetry, the counters, everything in the house is covered with that kind of a policy.
So if somebody has a question about what their insurance is on their condo, they can reach out to their homeowners association and find that out.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's always best actually to find the agent who had written the policy because they will give you a much more defined answer than the HOA would.
Yeah, we went through that. I'm the president of a homeowners association in for one of our properties, and we had to update our insurance and make sure that it was adequate. And it was an interesting process. I actually learned quite a bit. And then Rob told me I didn't even have any insurance for my own interior coverage, so we're going to work on that. Okay, so Rob, I like to work with you because you seem to know the business, at a level that we can communicate professionally, and I don't feel like there's any gaps. Why? What separates you? I want to give you an opportunity to tell the audience why they should work with someone like you or call you for their business.
Well, when you're talking to an agent